Blizzard.
No! God, please, no!
Here's
Blizzard.
Every good game they have made has either been slowly destroyed or has been left untouched for years. World of Warcraft seems to be at its lowest point in history. Overwatch 2 has been delayed so much that the current game that everyone loved has become dusty and stale from not having any substantial updates. The StarCraft IP hasn't been touched in years. We wish Diablo 2 hadn't been touched, but it was, and it had so many issues, and we don't like to think about what happened with Warcraft 3 Reforged. And of course, while their games are taking a PR hit, so is the company, with extreme examples of sexual discrimination and abuse. So no, I don't like giving Blizzard any good boy points, but we have to give credit where credit is due. Not all the employees are to be blamed for the stains on the company's reputation, and they should be given positive reinforcement when they do something we like. So I found something that I really like.
Welcome to the Battlegrounds. 8 combatants enter? Only one will take the crown. Step aside. Be purged.
Hearthstone Battlegrounds is a game mode within Hearthstone that is so perfectly simple but feels so sweetly satisfying to master. What is Battlegrounds, you may ask? Well, it's not the one you will never really be good at. It's not the better version of World of Warcraft. It's not the one where you realize you need pre-made decks to be good at the game. It's not one that you play by yourself. It's not the one where you realize you need pre-made decks to be good at the game. And it's not the crazy version that you've sort of heard of but never really try all that often. Alright. The other modes aren't that bad. I just personally don't play enough to understand deck building and to know what cards are good and how to get them. I enjoy playing the other non-deck building modes from time to time, but none of them have quite grabbed my attention as much. Hearthstone Battlegrounds is made of something different. Don't know how to build a competitive deck? Don't worry, there are no decks. Don't want to buy card packs because your cards suck and they always will no matter how much money you spend because it's not the card's fault that you're terrible at the game? Don't worry, everyone shares a pool of cards here. Don't remember every card in Hearthstone's collection of 4,000? Don't worry, there are less than 150 cards and 75 heroes here. It's simplified, it's fun, it's no pressure competition, it's quick to get into and easy to understand. It's just great. Let me see if I can explain the entirety of this game in a couple minutes. Hearthstone Battlegrounds is the auto chess version of Hearthstone, where you pick the army and let them do the fighting. You still play with cards, but you acquire them over the course of the game. Here's how the game works. You are playing 1v7, and the goal is to be the last one standing. You start by picking one of 2 random heroes, or one of 4 if you pay for it. Starting strong with the pay to win, but stick with me, because if you just play for fun, you won't be too pissed off by it. The general idea is that you use coins, a limited resource, to buy minions and build an army to fight other players. There are 2 phases, Recruit and Combat. Recruit is where you buy and sell minions to manage your army, and Combat is where you fight another player. You fight other players in a round-robin style, and the goal in Combat is to have your minions outlast your opponents. Overall, pretty basic. Your first choice that you're going to make is your hero. Each hero has a hero power, and as of a recent patch, a buddy that gives another power related to your hero. For example, Illidan is one of the playable heroes. He has a power called Wingman that gives your left and rightmost minions a small damage boost and has them immediately attack when the combat round starts. He also gets a buddy, which spawns when your buddy meter fills, that gives immunity to those wingmen when they attack. There are 75 heroes as of writing this script, and as you play, you will learn which heroes you feel most comfortable with. There's only one other factor that could go into your choice of hero, and that is this little note here. This tells you what types of minions are going to be in the pool for this specific game. The minion pool is shared by every player, so these types are going to be important for building your strategy. Each minion type has a strength and a weakness, and it's up to you to use the minions and your hero to gain an advantage over your opponents. Starting the game, you are given 3 gold in your first set of minions to buy. Each minion costs 3 gold. It costs 1 gold each time to refresh your minion selection, and in order to get stronger minions, you'll have to upgrade your tavern tier, which also costs gold. Every turn you add 1 to your maximum amount of gold, and you have 1 turn to spend it all. The max amount of gold you will get per turn is 10. Every minion has an attack and a health number, and most minions will have some power that comes along with it. The idea is to build an army of 7 minions that work the most cohesively together and become the strongest team. For example, some minions have power-ups that will raise the attack or health of other minions. Some minions have a death rattle, which means that minion will have a certain effect on death. Some minions have a power called Avenge, which triggers when a certain amount of friendly minions die, and there are a number of others as well. The minions you purchase will be yours until you decide decide you want to get rid of them. You can sell them back to the tavern for a single gold piece. If you happen to buy or otherwise obtain 3 of the same minion, they will upgrade to a gold minion, which is a bit stronger and usually increases the effectiveness of its power. And I think that covers most of it, the basics anyway. Obviously, things get a bit more complex when you start understanding how to build a strategy. Minions usually interact with other minions of the same type, which is why building a strategy around a type is most common. But there are a number of strategies that include mixing minions of all types as well, and that's where the fun comes from. I'm a competitive person. I don't like to lose. I will keep trying at something until I beat it or until I start to win, and that usually rolls over to how I play video games. Not here. I used to play Hearthstone back when it first came out, and I tried very hard to be good at the main card game. I learned it, liked it for a while, and then realized that there was an ever-expanding card base and meta deck build that I just couldn't keep up with. That's great for regular players of the game, for people that are dedicated to it, not really for casuals like me. I don't really think this should change too much, but I do think there should be some sort of catch-up mechanic to get new players up to speed and working with the best cards. Though part of the problem is how you can purchase card packs and heroes in the cash shop if you really want to. Newbies are incentivized to buy card packs to build a better deck faster. Is it pay to win? In my opinion, kind of, because if you have access to better cards and more possible deck builds, then you have an advantage in the game, but technically it's more like pay to speed up your progress. You can build a competitive deck just by playing the game, but it's definitely a bit more time consuming. Competitive players obviously suffer more from this, but Hearthstone is free to play, so I can't say too much about their monetization practices. All I can say is that playing for fun is fun, and playing competitively is hard and potentially expensive. Bringing this back to Battlegrounds though, I don't feel the competitive drive with this version of the game. Of course, I want to win. That's the goal of any game. But I think this just doesn't feel as competitive because the process of building the army is more fun to me than trying to win. At first I was consumed with figuring out how my opponents got their minions so strong with health and attack in the hundreds, so I started trying really hard to figure out winning strategies. Then after winning with each of the minion types and some death rattle builds, I started becoming obsessed with building a random team of different minions that was strong enough to win. And that's when the game became less of I need to win the crown and more of how can I build the most annoying team ever. A couple of examples. There's a couple minion type builds for dragons. One of them is to grab these 1-star dragons at first, and then as soon as Terragosa pops up in Tavern Tier 3, you grab as many as you can. While other minions will lose stat gains from combat after the round ends, this dragon has a power that keeps them permanently. Then you look for any way to raise its stats. One of the best strategies has you find the prized promo Drake, which has a power that raises adjacent minion stats by 1 times the number of dragons in your army. So if you have all dragons, that would be 7 attack and 7 health every combat turn. Then you spend the entire rest of the game searching for more copies of these 2 dragons so you can upgrade them to gold. If you make them gold, the prized promo Drake will double the stats it gives every turn, and Terragosa will take those doubled stats and double them again. So now, Terragosa is receiving 28 health and attack every single turn and keeps it permanently. Not to mention whatever other stat gains you can manage to give it. Done correctly, this is nearly impossible to defeat. Nearly. Another minion type build that I like is for Murlocs. It's a perfect counter for the Infinite Dragon stat gain build. It requires you to stay alive with semi-strong Murlocs until you unlock this guy. S.I. Siphon? 7? Siphon? I don't know. This Murloc has a power that gives another Murloc poison damage if 3 friendly minions have died in this combat round. So the strategy is to build your other Murlocs with enough attack and health that they will hold their own for a while, and then have all of them given this poison. Poison kills anything instantly. Even if you have 1 attack and your opponent has 32 health, the poison will still kill it instantly. Even if you have Terragosa at hundreds of health, my Murloc with less than 10 attack will still kill you. This is one of my favorite builds. It's probably one of the most satisfying feelings ever to see your opponent's army completely break down because of a little Murloc with poison. This is a casual review, so I won't take up too much time with strategies, but I can't tell you how much fun it is to make crazy armies that may not win, but will definitely beat someone who thought they had a chance to be crowned. I think the best part about Battlegrounds is that because I'm not playing to be competitive, I don't really have many negative critiques about it. I do think some heroes are easier to use than others, and if you play competitively and with the sole purpose of raising your ranking, that might be a problem for you. If you pay for it, you could unlock perks, which allows you to choose between 4 heroes at the start of the match, but I honestly have never felt that I've been at a huge disadvantage because of the hero that I've chosen. More so, it's part of the massive amount of luck that goes into the game. The minions in the tavern are randomly spawned from a pool that you share with your opponents, so if another player takes a minion first, you have less of a chance to get it. There are multiple copies of the minion, but obviously you are playing your luck to get it first, so this means that nothing about the game is static. A true strategy can't be formed because you don't know how the minions are going to spawn. You also don't know what your opponents are going to do. If 4 of your opponents are also trying to pull off the Terracoza dragon build, you are all fighting for the dragon minions. So if you have the hero you like the most, but the minions don't fall to your liking, then having your hero doesn't mean much. Getting the easiest hero to play may mean nothing if you don't get the right minions. So hero balancing is less important because it's just one of the many factors of luck that play into the game. But just because it's less impactful doesn't mean it's not impactful at all. I can tell you that there are a couple heroes that I have not learned how to play yet. I can pull off minion builds relatively easily now, but actually using the hero power to get ahead is how you can change the tide of battles. Some of the heroes just aren't that clear on how to use their power. Illidan's is very simple. Power to your left and rightmost minions and expect them to attack first. Ragnaros has a power that gives you Sulfuras after killing 25 enemy minions. Sulfuras gives your left and rightmost minions plus 3 health and attack. Very simple. But I have never won with Dino Tamer Bran. His power is that after you play 5 Battlecry minions, you are given the card Bran Bronzebeard. The only reason I haven't won with this guy is because Bran Bronzebeard just doubles your Battlecries, and I haven't quite figured out how to maximize Battlecries enough to make a build completely centered around it. I end up far behind my opponents, and it becomes a too little too late situation. But I have won with Illidan like 3 times. So even though it's just an opinion on which hero is easier to play, I can safely back that up with 3 wins for Illidan to 0 wins with Dino Tamer Bran. But continuing with the critiques, something I actually really like that is kind of a simple feature is that if someone disconnects or leaves the game intentionally, Kel'Thuzad will come in and play the combat round for them. They won't progress any, but they will still fight with whatever minions they had. This is done because of the nature of round robin. It makes it fair for everyone, and it allows the other 7 players to keep playing. If there is an uneven number of players left, Kel'Thuzad will come in so no one misses a combat round. Like I said, it's a simple feature, but I would hate if the game was treated differently in the event of a rage quit or disconnect. Can you imagine if every time 1 of 8 players disconnected, all the players had to start the game over? Or if when someone rage quit, a random person is forced to join the game and take over their army? That would just be annoying for everyone. The last thing I'll talk about is the perfection of the Hearthstone mobile app. This game was made to be played on a phone. Sometimes I think it's actually smoother to play on my phone than it is to play on my computer. All of the footage so far has been from my computer, but I probably play twice as much on my phone. The mobile app has a simplified UI, but the UI is not that much more complex on the computer anyway, so you're not missing any information by playing mobile. And due to the simplicity of Battlegrounds in general, I can just have it playing on my phone, do the recruit phases, and then do something else entirely while waiting for the combat phase to finish. This is definitely the reason why I'm so addicted. The accessibility of the game has me wasting my entire life looking at a small phone screen when I could be looking at, I don't know, nature, or my dogs, or the road. Just kidding, don't play and drive, kids. Long video short, this game has me hooked. I don't know for how long, but I probably have at least 100 or more hours logged into the game just in the past 2 weeks, so I think it's safe to say that I recommend this game. Give it a shot. Don't take it too seriously, or start learning strategies if you want to play competitively. Either way, I hope you enjoyed the video. Leave a like if you liked it, and subscribe for more casual reviews. I hope you get more wins than I have in Battlegrounds, and I can't wait to see what we talk about next.